Hello and welcome back to Actual Play. This has been a while since we've played Wobeggong Crew. I'm super excited. For everyone who hasn't seen, this is a semi-long running game that we had been playing for several sessions. Got ourselves into a fair bit of trouble with the Spirit Warden and the Hive and everyone else. And after a hiatus, we have come back, and now we have a new player, Mad J, joining us. That's awesome. There will be no confusion between J's, I'm sure. Yeah, so I'm real keen to find out. I'm Sean. Use he him pronouns, and I'm super keen to find out what life working for the Hive is like. So that's gonna be rad. Matt J, how about you? What's up with you, and what's exciting you right now?
I am playing a leech. His name is Clave. He's fresh out of Iron Hook prison, so I'm excited to see what life as a free man looks like, especially since he's now devoted to a lost god, which I'll learn about, that he got exposed to while he was in Iron Hook. So I'm excited to see how that goes, what that's about. And that's all in Judd's capable hands. So
Yay. That's me. Yeah, I'm excited to get back. I'm curious to see. I picture it like a new season of the Peaky Blinders, where like you zoom on in and see how everybody is moving on up. So it'll be cool. It'll be cool to see. And that's me hitting the volleyball towards the last J.
Yeah, I'm super excited to find out how the Hive has made up for the lost revenue by dropping their slave trade business. That's really that really interests me, because I'm sure they've stopped it and there won't be any problem or conflict.
Right. That was the central conceit, was that we promised them they could make more money working with us and doing, I don't know, spirit trafficking or other sort of illegal things,
but
not human trafficking.
To be more clear, you assured them that they could make more money. I assured them that I would not stop killing them until they stopped doing that.
Yeah, I think it might have actually been our beloved Scannon,
yes.
that made the offer, but it was sort of our collective ghost friendliness that they don't maintain. So we're their occult arm, or that's why they brought us on. Yeah, and I do fondly remember you being like, yeah, I can't help with that part, but I can definitely still keep killing your people.
We're good at that.
That part. So it was kind of two birds there, sort of.
From the last thing we did was we were dealing with there was a guy who we were just trying to kill. Pete ended up killing. It was the crows. What was the last scene we had there? That was a real big rift moment. That was.
Oh yeah.
Fuck! I forget his name.
Was it? No. Wait. The big rift moment, I thought, was when you guys were talking with the vampire lord, and he had a kid there, like a 16-year-old kid.
Yeah, we found. And he wasn't just any 16-year-old. He was, I think, the Lord Governor's son.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And we went to Skurlock all chipper and cheery, like, hey, vampires are going to be good news. And Charming was impressed with his incredibly high fashion. And Maud was hoping to get a straightforward answer out of him that, like, demons are bad. That's why I'm a vampire. And I don't think any of us really walked out satisfied. But we did see that he had this kid under his thrall. And with some pretty fierce internal debate, notably Scannon being of the opinion that we shouldn't get into businesses that isn't our own, we took the kid with us, and I think Maud broke the occult tethers that Skurlock had on him, because we saw that he was able to sort of drain his blood from a distance. He like bit into an apple, and then the apple started bleeding, and later we saw the kid all like withered and comatose. So Maud found whatever hooks he had and removed them. And we sent the kid back on his way, hoping that would get us the Good Samaritan badge for the day.
Well, the last scene was actually in the Coal Blacks, or in Coleridge rather, where we were going to. Again,
Oh, Bajo Baz, yeah,
Bajo Baz, yeah.
That's it. Right. We went to try and we found Bajo Baz, and he was like in a drugged out stupor.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And we said, "What's up with you?" And he said, I'm out of the game. I'm just gonna drink myself to death here. And we helped him get to that second part, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Well, I was pushing towards rehabilitation, and he was like, "Great, that's a great idea," and then ghosted through a wall and stuck him in the throat, and that was it.
Right. Yeah, that was just free play. Yeah, that was just like a downtime action.
Because I think Charming and Maud were disagreeing about, like, we both wanted Bajo Baz to sort of get back in the fray, and we had a disagreement about methods. Like, Maud was like, give him time, and you're like, no, he just needs to buck up now. And I think we were butting heads, and then Scannon was like, how about, or I just stab him in the throat and he's dead now. Without either. Yeah.
Yep.
As the Scannon liked to do. Did we do anything with his ghost? Did we bring him? I can't remember if we like put his ghost in a bottle or just like GTFO'd.
I don't remember.
Let's leave it uncertain. We can figure it out. Flashback. Figure it out.
Yeah. Awesome. Sounds good.
So yeah, the Lamplax are gone. Like, they do not exist to our knowledge. Maybe some of the old members have joined the Hive, but last we left off, Bajo was out of the picture, and no one knew anything about the Lamplax.
Cool. I think it starts like the opening of a new season of a TV show, right? And you see the old hotel, except it's all fixed up. Are you guys cool if they're actually like it's a working hotel now?
The orphans are now bellhops.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. The one kid, Hicks, who was super helpful, is now like in a doorman's uniform, and he hails a canal limousine for Charming, and Charming walks out looking splendid, and they head towards Ironhook to pick up their old friend. And then I think we cut, and I think like the camera dolly shot goes through. It goes through. No, not. Yeah, it goes through Maud's office, and we see the office that she had in her vision. That was like some far future thing, and it's there. And we kind of go along the canals with Charming, and we cut to Clave getting out of the Ironhook prison. Clave, you've probably heard about your buddies back from the army, and that they had set up a smuggling operation. And I think you've heard all kinds of things about them. That they're known for being very professional, that they've taken up with that they're spiritually savvy, that they are daring, that they're players in the underworld scene, and they helped make peace. Even though the Crows are trying to take credit for it, a lot of people are saying on the sly that it was really the Wobeggong crew that made peace between the Lamplax and the Red Sashes when there was war. And
there may also be note that there's another spiritually savvy gang that people know, the Dimmer Sisters, which the Wobeggong crew has butted heads with on several occasions.
Yeah. Yeah. There's been some chafing there, and word is that the Wobeggong crew burgled them recently.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
Reclamation.
yep. Yep. As you see Clave, like, getting out of prison to wait in the yard in Dunslow, which is just the most, the shithole slum of Duskfall. Anything we notice about him particularly, Jay?
I think he's lanky. He
Yeah.
looks hungry.
Yeah.
He looks at peace. For someone getting out of Ironhook, he looks at peace, ready to move on to whatever's next.
Mm-hmm.
So he's kind of taking stock, like he's leaving home, getting one last look at the whole place, guards, other inmates, and as he walks away from the facilities into the yard, further away from it, he doesn't look back.
Nice.
After he gets his one good memory look, he doesn't turn around to look back. Everything's forward from there.
Yeah. Nice. You know that the crew is going to send somebody to pick you up. Do you wait, or do you just start walking?
I think I just start walking.
Okay. Cool. Does he head anywhere in particular, or like where is he going? You're walking through Dunslow, which is a total shithole, and I think a lot of most of the convicts kind of peel off of Clave and go to like get their drugs and get their spark and get their hit on right away. And I imagine Clave just like kind of walking through.
Right, just walking right past.
Yeah.
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't need that. I gotta get away from that.
Nice.
I think he's just going to assume that whoever's coming for him will look for him and will find him while he's just walking. So
awesome.
I think
my guess is there's a few likely candidates, right? Like there's a tavern that a lot of people who, as soon as they get out, go to, and there's like the place with what you buy clothes that are better than the rags you come walking out in,
right?
And like a board plate, like several sort of common areas nearby.
And he would be going to exchange his clothes.
Nice. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go on, Magic.
Yeah, no, that would be the main thing next is to get out of the prison clothes, get a better set of clothes.
Cool.
And then hopefully by the time that's done, whoever's coming to get me will have arrived.
Yeah,
I'll be dressed for it.
The good news is that if the first thing on your mind is to get a new set of clothes, like that is exactly what Charming would think you would actually do. Like that makes sense to him. Matter of fact, if you did anything else, he would wonder, I think, why you were doing it. So,
question your priorities.
Yeah. How is Clay? How is he dressed when Charming comes onto him? Comes into the shop.
Yeah, I think being from he's a Ruvian.
Yeah.
So I think light material, earthy colors. I'd say as dapper as he can afford.
Cool.
As stylish as he can afford. Having just got out of Ironhook.
Nice. Yeah, and I think there's a family of tailors, and they used to be a gang, and they retired in style, and they run this place. So they deal with like scoundrels who are getting out of Ironhook and want to look like, want to look right.
Right.
And they've got a fireplace, and your clothes are your Ironhook, clothes are folded up near them so that if you want to throw them in, you can.
Oh, absolutely. I'm done with those.
Cool. And yeah, and I think it's like a nice place to wait for your gang to pick you up. You know, it's like it's a nice parlor, and it has a dock outside for canal limos. And as you throw the clothes into the fireplace, you hear Charming coming up the dock.
Have I heard? I know these people, or do I know these people?
Yeah. You know of this place.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. It's run by Milos Booker.
So as I walk in, Prince is going to be right next to me. He's going to have about 6 or 7 different outfits with him already, like that he's probably laboring under. You know, like a bunch of different sets of clothing. You know, why waste a trip, right? Walk in. Oh, cool. That's the shiniest French I've seen in years, mate. Don't you look posh after your time in the joint? How are you, love?
Hungry? Thirsty? You look like you've been eating good.
Well, that's the fruits of my labor, like, right? You haven't got rid of your iron hook rags yet, then have you? I've got about 5 or 6 different. Oh, you have? Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize, mate. I'm not making any judgments, like, I'm just, it's not my taste, as it were. Brown's not my style. I apologize, gentlemen. No ill will intended. And I have brought a couple of suits I'd like you to take a look at, a couple of bits of cloth I'd like to talk to you about getting in and out of the harbor. I'm sorry, I digress. Sir, you would most likely like to get home, wouldn't you?
And eat and drink. I'm thirsty.
Good. Well, gents, here's my things. Prince here is going to find his own way home, right, Prince?
Well, but we're
Thanks,
done.
mate. Let's go.
Yeah, and I think he turns around, and there are like there's half a dozen hungry kids like staring at Prince as he turns around, and you see him like roll up his sleeves.
So you think Prince? He's a bit tough, right? And he likes to lord it over the other lads over back at the hotel. But I think a little bit of training is gonna be good for him, right? Fine.
All life is training.
Right. So how are you, mate?
No worse for wear. How's everyone else?
Worse and better. Yeah, haven't seen Scannon in a bit, but Maud's with us. She's doing well.
Nice.
Done very well for ourselves. What were your plans, mate? What was your next step?
Well, work if you got it. Naria, if she's still around, I'd like to find her.
Right.
That's about it.
Well, let's get underway then. Kyle, this is the wrench.
Yeah, Kyle. Kyle was in the crew back in Barcast Bay, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
Oh wait, was he?
No, he was brought into the crew the first.
Right.
You beat him up and were like, "Now you work from us." And I wasn't in that score, but I think he was like sort of strong armed into the crew after. I think so. Like when you guys took over that ship, it was the. I could be wrong. I know you like.
No, I think there was somebody else who did that. Who?
Okay, never mind.
We just haven't gotten back to.
There was a guy that I got into a fight with, and
yeah,
we, he opted to leave and go on the high seat. And
I think I mixed him up. Cool.
Fair enough.
but he was going to come back. Yeah, Kyle lost an arm in the war, and he's got some mechanical background to him too. So he keeps their boat running essentially. But I think looking now, I think he was your apprentice back in the war. Like he was basically like your engineer's apprentice.
Okay.
You'll notice when you come on board too that Charming's had set up like like a manicured table with a tablecloth with food on it. There's a bathing tub next to it, and about 5 different outfits set up in like a little hung up on the side of the rail as well. I was like, I wasn't sure what you're gonna do for yourself, mate. Feel free to peruse and have a bit of a bite while we're underway. Have you had a chance to get a shower and a shave, mate?
None of that yet. No.
Well, if you feel like taking a dip, by all means.
All right. Yeah. I will. I think I've been away for a while. This is all kind of opulent.
Well, what's the point in living if you're not going to do it right, isn't it?
All right. I will take a look through whatever outfits are there. I will take a dip, get cleaned up.
Cool.
Shave if I can shave.
Yeah. No, it's all there. And knowing Charming, the straight razor has a Leviathan bone handle, and like it's a little bit. It's even some of it is a little bit much. Like it's a little bit new money much.
Right.
But the gang is clearly doing well, and I think Maud when Maud gets into the scene, she has a folder from the Hive that says "job." Sean, I can't hear you.
You're muted, buddy.
Good call. I assume that we're sort of meeting back up at the hotel. Is that where we rejoin?
Yep.
With the awesome door on it.
Yeah. Well, it's not. I mean, I think it's probably funny because I think that door is still there, but it's completely like antiquated. It's completely like this legacy thing because everything else has been remodeled around it, and like the whole place is really nice. But I bet we fought tooth and nail. Like, nope, you're not taking out that door, right? So there's a bunch of nicer doors throughout the rest of the hotel, and there's still this one that we like. That was our initial.
That and the dining room table.
Yeah, our first purchase, right? When Maud walks in, Maud has probably to Charming's delight has had a significant physical transformation since last season. The black hair that was all matted and baked that she always wore has now been replaced by curls and ringlets that bob that hang down to her shoulders and bob. The dirt under her fingernails has now been replaced with paint. The grease that was always on her face, it looked like maybe it was like almost like camouflage or something like that, has been replaced by cat eye makeup. And her tattered cloak that just like always had random like baubles and crap that she pulled out of it. Her sort of witch's cloak has been replaced by a form-fitting dress that's in black and white lace. However, she still wears like the knuckle bone of old Meg as her charm on her neck. So there's still like this very like doesn't fit with the rest of it. Old withered bone hanging on a leather cord. And she and this is like not going to be a surprise to Charming. This is just her attire as of living in this higher lifestyle. And she sets down the job folder.
Nice. Yeah.
And she still remembers how to say hello, mate. Hello, Clive. How are you? Is a job.
Right. Sorry. I didn't mean to imply that she was not greeting people. Just describing her change since last season. Yes. No. Now, did we all know that Clave was getting out? This was the plan, right?
Totally.
Right. So, man, meeting people from Burgess Bay was like not a fun thing for Maud. She's not really like excited about it, but it is a reunion still.
Right.
So she when you come in, she sets down like 3 heavy mugs on the table. Like the folder is there, but she sits down. She's like, you probably haven't had anything good to drink in ages. And she slides one over to you as sort of frothy bits lap over the edge of it.
I stutter a little bit. I look at Charming, and then Maud. Maud.
Right.
It's true. It's true. It became important to keep up appearances. So it's just a dress.
That's
Right.
a fine dress, Maud.
Not going to say, oh, this old thing, but it does help in keeping ourselves keeping our reputation as professionals. Can't say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And then, like, she sort of unconsciously like shoves the
Stop doing that.
underneath her
Or
dress.
the collar. I don't know how many times I've told you this. I know it might be a bit uncomfortable. But get used to it.
Oh, you wanted to see my grandma's knuckle bone. All right, fine.
No, I think it works, right? I think it works. It's a good juxtaposition with the rest of what you got going on. I think the knuckle bone is a nice setting piece. It brings the whole outfit together.
And meanwhile, I think what you might notice, Clave, is that there are folks bringing drinks and putting them down on the table. Two guys who you don't know, you have no idea who they are, close the doors when you guys enter the room and make sure no one else from the hotel comes in. And the folder that says job is black, and there is a gold enamel B on it in the corner, like a corporate logo. And the ribbon that holds all the papers together is gold and black.
Wow.
Cut to a scene with like 13-year-olds who are getting paid, mind you, but 13-year-olds sitting there with like a stencil template, drawing in gold leaf on like 100 folders, like over and over and over again. And back.
Sir, can I have a break? No. Crime demands paperwork. Keep stenciling, you bastards.
I mean, how do you think they made letterhead right now? I don't. Well, the print press existed, but I don't. I think this is hand done. I'm pretty sure.
Right. Cool. Yeah, the job is on the table.
Yeah.
Oh, you should be a prop.
I feel. Work's been coming at us at a pretty fast clip, and we haven't had a lot of time to enjoy the fruits of our labors yet. But so it's good to have you back, Clave, because as it implies, we've got work to do, and I thought I would do you all the favor of not taking a look ahead. So we're finding this out for the first time. I flip open the folder to see what they've sent us.
Yeah. They've sent you the blueprints and cargo details for the Dunville Rover, which is the Leviathan hunting ship of the Dunville family. And then basically, like, you all go through the paperwork, and what you find out is that the Dunville Rover is home to a cult, a secret cult. And that cult was one of the largest purchasers of human cargo in Duskfall. And they're basically handing you this and saying like, you need to either get a grip on these guys or steal from them or get blackmail material on them or something, because they're a problem.
And not to say that we don't take umbrage with human trafficking. Clearly a strong theme in the Wobeggong crews.
Yes.
What is it that how are they harming the hive? I mean, I know the hive stopped getting in that business, or at least so they said, but I didn't imagine that they suddenly adopted like highfalutin morals of we need to clean up the rest of the town. Is that is their issue the cult taking people, or do they have some other?
Them handing this to you is kind of like their way of saying, hey, we're making good on our side of the deal.
Okay, cool.
So it's not necessarily that they're doing anything against the hive, although you can tell in the fine print of the paperwork that the hive has some worries, has some concerns about this group getting desperate and shedding light where people don't want light shed.
And does it include the cult, the forgotten god or demon or other font of power that they have affiliated themselves with?
So because the hive has no real occult muscle at all, you can find no mention of what the cult is about. You know, you've got like one witness report who says, oh yeah, they're a cult. And then nothing.
So cult, in this sense, could totally be stand-in for they do any weird thing we don't understand.
Yes, that is exactly what it's a stand-in for.
Zero like actual categories. Like the taxonomy of this word is basically non-existent. Okay.
Yes.
Cool. I think Maud can figure that out pretty quickly because she's like, oh, okay, so what sort of cult? And she's flipping through and she's like, oh, wait, there's just nothing, right? There's like no, they're either the unseen, which could be terrifying in its own right, or they've just like, this is a very primitive appraisal of them.
Right.
Leviathan Hunter is
and keep in mind, you can always like look at your character sheet and be like, you know what, we're not taking this job right now. We're going to grab some turf and go grab some turf. So that wasn't me saying, hey, this is like the job I'm throwing out there. If you guys have another idea for a job or something you want to take or turf you want to grab, let's grab it. But this is the job I'm throwing on the table.
As we're starting off the new season, I'm inclined to sort of like not pursue the like whatever the Wobeggong crew would have been doing at the end of the last season. Like I know we had all sort of like aspirations. I sort of want to see like what's the new state of things. So I'm inclined to do it just because like that's the new thing that's happening now is we're doing jobs for the hive. So I sort of want to do that. See
cool.
What that looks like. What do you think, Jay? I see Mad Jay nodding. So
yeah, no, I'm down with that.
I am too. I think Clave is about getting back in, and he feels like he's a low man on the totem pole, so he's got to prove himself.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a familiar feeling. So I think,
I mean, Charming would feel beholden to the hive if they've actually they've actually abandoned the slavery. Like, he would feel like, okay, you made good on your word.
Yeah, it looks like they're helping. They're pointing us in the direction of help liberating other people from that vice as well. I think Blades does not recommend or support heavy planning, but gathering some information so we even get like a sense of the scope of this, I think makes a lot of sense.
Cool.
And so I'd love to, since I have a cult of my own, and it's a cult full of nobles that that are affiliated with the Dunvilles, I feel like I have a really good source of information to pin on this. And I'd also love to see where my relationship right now with Flint is standing, because the last thing I did the last season with him was insert him into that cult as like my stand-in when I'm not around. You know, and he basically told me, you screw me one more time and we're done.
Cool.
So yeah, I'd love to go have a sort of cut through the end of the seance with the people, and then we always have like the mask discussions, and from there prophesize a very foreboding turn of fortune for the Dunville family, and say that any who have ties to the Dunvilles may wish to confess those to me, that they may absolve themselves and thus protect themselves from any damage which might come to the family soon. This is a cult of retribution, and so I just sort of, as in my anonymous self, am trying to give the rich and wealthy here the opportunity to to step away and tell me what they know about the Dunville family.
Cool.
If you feel like I'm well established enough to make that demand.
Yeah. Let's have a roll of some kind.
I'm gonna make a command roll.
Cool.
It might sound like consort, and it sort of you might turn there, but in the beginning, it's I've had a vision from the Saint of Witches that a retribution is holding is coming to Dunvilles for their sins, and lest you be caught up in that same wrath, tell me, confess to me your affiliations.
Cool.
So, how does this game work again? How do you dice? Let's pull that map up. All right. So Maud is 2 in command, but she also has occultist. The secret ways to consort with ancient powers, forgotten gods, or demons. Once you consort with one, you get +1d to command cultists who worship it. And I have consulted with her, as we established in a previous game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking +1d on this here. On this command action. Is this a fortune roll or is it a risk involved? Should it be an action roll with?
I think fortune is fine.
Okay. I'm stretching the limit of how much text I can put into it. Nice. It worked. I got a 5, which I think is standard information.
Okay. Yeah, you get word that the goat matron, the Saint of Witches, doesn't have any real ties to this particular cult on the ship, but it's known, and it's also known that the House of the Dunville family doesn't know about it. There's basically an ectoplasmic science cult on their ship, and they're studying the line between gods and demons.
It's something that Maud is curious about as well.
Right. And to do it, they're spilling a lot of blood in the ocean.
Cool. I think it would be a different sort of investigation or different asking around if anyone wants to do it to find out if anyone important has been taken. Because I don't know if we want to try and blackmail them or if we want to just go in there and sort of in Wobeggong crew normal form, just break their shit. But yeah, Maud certainly comes back and it's yep, it's a cult. They're not so much trafficking in human lives as they are sacrificing them, trying to appease some god or another.
Why does that feel better to me? It does, and I don't know why it does, but it does.
Well, Clave, you while you were in the Hook, do you hear about anybody getting taken out on these ships and not returning? I know Deathland scavengers tend to be, the the rule of thumb is they're supposed to go out into the Deathlands to earn a reduced sentence, but they often don't return. Anybody of note disappear or go out and not come back. And I think it would be appropriate if Jay wanted to make some sort of roll to find out if you had heard anything from there. If I'm not pushing too far, stretching too far.
Yep. You're muted, Jay.
There we go. All right. Is that a fortune roll?
Yes, sir.
I don't know.
The way mechanically, the way you do it is you click on roll fortune down at the bottom of the character sheet, but you still are picking some action that you're rolling.
Right. I was trying to figure out what action I was going to go with here that made sense. So when they go out to scavenge out in the what are they scavenging for? What are they bringing back?
Artifacts, pieces of basically like archaeological evidence of the old world, you know?
Gotcha. I'm thinking a tune. Maybe I'm looking at whatever comes back.
Yeah.
So I know what teams are going out, and as they're coming back in, not all the teams, but maybe I have some exposure or had some exposure.
Yeah.
Because as they bring stuff back, maybe I'm looking at some of those things.
Cool.
To figure out what's mundane, what isn't, what is weird, what is odd.
Okay.
Maybe that's how I'm familiar with if anyone's missing or if some folks could be missing.
Yep. Sounds good.
I have 2 in a tune. Roll for fortune. There it is. Okay. I might just let this go.
Go.
That's a 4.
What is a 4 in a fortune roll?
It's the same category as 5. It's
Same
standard
category.
information. Yeah.
Standard information. Yeah. Yeah, you have heard of people who basically snuck under the electric fencing. This you like among scavengers, like sometimes what some people want to do is like get back to the city directly. And so you've heard of those folks, and you've heard of how sometimes they get just snuffed up off the streets. But a lot of what you're hearing are from old, like you're hearing about the route that they got taken to the Dunsville Rover,
Right.
Which was kind of old hive manhunting teams picking them up back in the day when they were, when they were involved in human trafficking operations. You don't really hear too much about what happened to them other than that they're gone. Like once you get picked up at one of those teams, you're done. Gotcha. Was there something in particular that you were looking for, like something specific, or?
I think it was if I knew anyone that came up missing or hadn't come back. Right? That was
yeah. You knew one guy named Cricket because of the weird way he snored. and he was a Deathland scavenger. He'd made it back from like 3 different jaunts, so he was pretty well known. And on one jaunt, he didn't come back, but people said that he actually found a place under the fence where you could crawl under, and it got plugged later, but he made it out into the city, and then he just disappeared.
Gotcha. And so that's what I tell Maud. I tell her about Cricket, what I knew about Cricket, about his escape, that fence being plugged. But I don't know if he made it or not.
Well, let's hope to the older forgotten gods that he wasn't picked up by them. But if he was, doesn't sound like his fortune improved any when he got out.
Yeah.
If that's their profile, though, if they're taking ex-prisoners or current prisoners for that matter, there's not a lot of blackmail that we can do. No one in Dustfall is going to care what someone's done to someone in the Hook. No offense, Clave.
It's true.
Cool. What kind of job do we want this to be?
Yeah, I think I'd be angling for a more direct action. Like, if there was a chance to, like, take them down in some public eye, that would make sense, but I'm not seeing it. So I think infiltration, get in there and take something they need, or I feel like assault against the Leviathan Hunter is real ridiculous. Like, they got bigger guns than we possibly could fathom, but also we should sort of like determine like what our goal is. Are we going to try and free the people that are on it? Are we going to try and like find out what they're actually up to for realsies? Are we going to I mean, we don't need to know all the details, but I think we should sort of have a sense of like what we're trying to do.
Gotcha.
It might change. It probably will change when we get in.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the what it looks like is if we free the people that they have captive, that's going to prevent them from continuing their practices. They're going to have to find other people. It's going to be an annoyance, but it won't be like, I mean, they'll probably just go round up other people to make sacrifices of. So it seems like maybe it's getting the hive something more concrete to take action with. So something we can hand up to them. It's like, here you go. Here's the blackmail you need. Here's the.
What precisely was the request from the hive? Like, what exactly did they expect to have done? And we're just giving us information about people who are using, who are clearly taking people. Or did they have a goal in mind? I mean,
no, I think they mostly had that they just thought this was a good target.
This is a present.
And yeah, more than anything else, of like, and these are people who we want a handhold on in case they decide to say, hey, this is where we used to get all of our people. That's not a real business,
Right. Yeah. Oh, I can totally see the threads here. They want to clean up their old. So if they're no longer providing people, they didn't use all of the people that they had. They sold a lot of them. So now if they're no longer in the business of selling people, they don't want that to come back and bite them when someone reveals that that's what they were doing. So
gotcha.
It's cleaning up their dirty laundry. Yeah, I'm all for going in, finding out what we can do that will break this cycle for them. Like I think rescuing people is all well and good, but Maud would say, but there's always going to be more people in Iron Hook. And if Iron Hook ever does run out, the Bluecoats will do whatever they need to do to fill it back up again. So,
well, we don't change anything if they're still breathing air. But what I'm saying, I think here's what I'm thinking: we've got to deal with the Leviathan Hunter, right? So, what's the best way to deal with that? Deal with that is to deal with another Leviathan Hunter, right? Who is it that they are opposed to? Who has a problem with this particular house?
all the noble families, most of the noble families, they have their own hunters. It's a point of pride. Everybody knows about Strangford. There's plenty of others. Some of Ruvians as well. That come to board here.
Has it ever been the case that these houses will steal each other's or pirate each other's Leviathan hunters?
Oh, totally.
Right.
Totally.
Yeah.
Here's
I
what-
doubt they would like go directly to war with one another because it's just too big a. I mean, unless they wanted to go to war, but
Right.
or unless they knew for a fact that they would win, right?
Don't ask me to understand the mind of nobles, but my experience is that they usually fuck each other in less obvious ways. But burglaring, I could see it.
Here's what I'm thinking. Right, we set up this Leviathan hunter to be the target of another house. Now we get ourselves enslaved and brought on board, right? We figure out ways.
Already don't like this plan, Charlie. Already don't like it.
Just follow along, mate. It's a clear timeline, and I'm sure there won't be no problems. So we know where they pick up the people that they want to pick up, right? They bring them over to the Leviathan. That gets us on board. We're very good at hiding things that we can use to get out of chains and whatnot, aren't we? We keep the blackjack nearby. Bob's your uncle. We get ourselves free. We subdue the defense teams, as you will. I'm not sure how this works. I fight on land, not on a boat. But actually, no, that's not true. I've been in several naval engagements.
I was to say.
I actually do know what I'm talking about. Hang on. So we smuggle ourselves on board. That's what we do, right, mate? We're smugglers. We get ourselves on board. We find a way to disrupt them from the inside. The other house's Leviathan hunter comes in, takes them out. Bob's your uncle. We're done.
Right, but that isn't making the very large assumption, Charmaine, that we're going to convince another family that the Dunville house is easy prey, because they're not going to go after it unless they think that they're going to win for sure.
Right.
And that means a whole lot of conspiring with muckety mucks. And from my experience talking to them, they're a bunch of fucking cowards. They're only going to take an opportunity to think is a sure thing. If you want to be caught and break out and have that daring do adventure, we might as well get caught by Dunville themselves and just break out from the inside and take everyone down with us. We'd get closer to the action. Pitting another family against them means we have to rile up another family. I say we go in directly.
Right, I like that better. You're right. Why share the
Wait,
spoils?
why did I say this? Hold on, I just agreed to your plan.
That's good. That's good. Get ourselves in. I love it more. I didn't know.
Cool. So we're looking at a stealth mission.
I think it's
All right.
infiltration. Yeah.
What's the point of infiltration?
Looking like we're escapees, right? It's
Right.
It's point of infiltration is where Deathland scavengers are exposed. I think it's the Deathlands, honestly. I think it's sneaking out as though we were scavengers that are easy to pick up.
Which of our cohorts are we going to bring?
Judd, does that sound like a reasonable
Yeah, I love it.
entry point?
Yeah.
Because, going out into the Deathlands is just like, ain't no big deal. And we could still have backup. We can have Kyle on the blackjack keeping a distance.
Right.
Okay, Wobeggong crew. Our cohorts, since it's been a little while, we have the blackjack, a cohort in themselves. We have Kyle, our pilot. We have the caged ones, which are the caged men that were captives of the hive and now work for us. They will not traffic in the sale of flesh. They are in their strengths are that they're independent and tenacious. Their flaws are that they're savage and principled.
Cool.
Principled being that they won't. And then we have the Remoras, and those are a gang of thugs. And then we have the Remoras, which are a gang of skulks, which were also taken from the hive. And they're the kids. And their edge is that they're loyal, and their flaw is that they're unreliable. They have to do kid things.
And we don't have to decide which of who we bring because we can do that all in flashback. So let's just get the engagement going. Let's roll some dice and get a job going.
Yeah.
What's all this talking? What's all this talking role playing garbage?
Just roll the damn dice and then
For goodness sake.
Okay.
I apologize.
And the one thing we do have to decide though is our load.
Jamal's going to think we're soft. He's sitting there thinking like, these guys are soft.
Hey, these guys are taking a minute to remember how this damn game works.
I
do
wish
we
we had
want-
someone who had edited it or like who had a role in the book. I hear that makes it way easier.
Way easier, yes.
I would suggest that we take a light load, and the reason why is that light loads are concealable in general, and we have smuggler's rigging, which allows us to, let me find it, 2 items that you can concealed, or 2 items carried are perfectly concealed.
Oh, nice.
So my guess is with a light load and 2 of those items being perfectly concealed, we will more or less be able to walk in with all of our stuff not taken from us. Or we could go heavier and take the risk that some of it's going to get picked off when we get captured. If you want to have Charming, are you actually, people pick independently. Mod will go with a light load.
Cool.
Yeah, no, I'm going with light load too. It only makes sense.
Light as
I'm really
well.
wishing I had taken mule instead of
Oh yeah, if you'd taken mule, you'd be like, oh sure, this is a light load.
light load. Sure.
Hand cannon, and here's hiding all
My
that.
howitzer.
Yeah. I love it. And the other thing is, I would say that though we're taking a light load, we're gonna like load up all of our stuff on the blackjack, so that should Kyle come sailing up and we need the big guns and whatnot, we'll have a lot of our stuff there. I think that's reasonable to have Kyle sort of for us. Yeah, so light loads. Yeah, so what engagement?
Yeah, let's roll some dice.
Yep.
Is this operation particularly bold or daring? Yes.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
I can't believe Mod agreed to it.
We are self-imprisoned. We can
Charming-
go to the Deathlands.
Charming has a new argument strategy where he proposes a plan that's suicide, and then Maud comes in with a plan that's like somewhat less than suicide,
Right.
and he's
And
like,
it's like,
"Oh
great.
yeah, that's great,
That's what I wanted all along."
And that's how we get daring.
cool." Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? I'm going to say yes. Another D.
Nice.
Which is directly relative to the information that you scrounged. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight for this operation? Yeah, I mean, I think the Hive is offering insight, so I think that's another D.
Cool.
Is there any other elements you want to consider? Maybe a lower tier target will give you +1. You're going to be dealing with a
They're tier
cult.
4.
Yeah.
think.
Leviathan hunters are?
generally are. I mean, there's variance within them, of course, but
Yeah.
like Leviathan hunters are typically tier 4.
So actually, I'm looking at it. The Leviathan hunters are tier 5, but you're not really dealing with the Leviathan hunters, right? You're dealing with like a gang that operate or a cult that operates within the Leviathan hunters. We're in like a
Sure.
weird territory here. So I'm
Right.
going to say
you could look at
that-
Forgotten Gods. They're tier 2 or 3 usually.
Okay. I'm going to say that the tier isn't going to be as much of a factor in this one.
Okay.
So
There's one other question you didn't ask us, which is after, is it bold or daring? Is it intricate or does it have
is it overly complex? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think
there's 2 parts to it. There's getting caught, and then there's
Getting
there's
out.
3 parts to it. There's getting caught, breaking out, and then doing whatever we're gonna do.
right? You want to give the minus?
I don't know. What do you guys think? Does it seem it's not as straightforward as it could be.
Right.
I don't know that it straddles it for me. I would be fine with you taking away a die for the fact that we're basically exposing ourselves to a lot of danger, right? Like we could just get locked up in shackles and have no way out. It seems like that's a viable possibility.
that's never happening for Charming. But yeah, no, it's I think that makes sense.
No, I agree. That's fair. That sounds fair.
Cool. So it is 3D total, I believe.
Right, because we got start with one for bold, 1 for contacts, 1 for information, lost 1 for communication. Sounds good.
Cool.
Jay, since you haven't rolled yet, you want to have Charming roll, make our fortune roll?
I can do that.
Engagement.
Engagement.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
Me too.
Yes.
Yes. Oh.
Right. Yep. Fish for Sterling, you've got it. That is exactly the plan. Get caught, break out.
Profit.
Yeah, there's not enough question marks in there. I think there's a wide array of starting points for this particular score.
Yeah. Jay, you rolling?
Charming Jay or
Yeah, I didn't
Jay.
know. Everybody was confused by that. It's not just you.
That's what I was saying. Like,
sorry. All right.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Charming. Why don't you make a roll since?
oh, sure. I'll make a roll.
Since we have I'm gonna start referring to you as Clave and Charming,
That's gonna make it easier.
or Mr. C. Damn it,
Mr. C. You gonna roll? All right. That's under fortune roll, right?
Yeah, roll fortune and then
3 dice, right?
it's engagement. Yep.
3 dice.
No bad. There's no bad engagement rolls.
Except the ones you can't spell. Yep,
It's
that's
okay.
not right, Jason. Engagement.
Gungage. Cool.
Yeah.
Risky. Sounds just right.
Sounds good.
All right.
I think we start with you guys on the beach. Poor Clave is right back in Iron Hook fucking close again, isn't he?
Can't get out for a hot second.
Guess you should
Not even 24 hours.
Not even 24 hours, right? Like, didn't even get a chance to like try and connect up with his friends and family. Just like boom, right back to it. Let's take a break and then find out how all this goes down as we're on the beach.
It's gonna be perfect.
Yeah, let me just like set it. So you guys are on the beach. It's the same make of boat that the Blackjack is, except it's owned by it's got a big D on it for House Dunville, and it opens on the beach and disengorges, and a bunch of Leviathan Hunter Marines fan out with guns, and I think we just like cut on Clave's face, like at this shitty plan.
Nice. I like it.
It's Maud's idea.
Sounds perfect. Yeah, it was definitely Maud's idea. All right. Well, we'll be back in 5 all. Let's see what happens.
Cool.